Hey everybody, it's Saturday afternoon. I'm out here on Prettyboy Reservoir, and I hadn't planned on shooting any video while I was out here, but it's just so pretty. I'm all the way down in George's Creek, and I'm near where George's Creek actually flows into the main channel of the reservoir. And if you actually look at Prettyboy Reservoir on a map, you will see that that's sort of the largest, widest area in the whole reservoir is that kind of end of George's Creek. It's not terribly deep through here, but it is big and broad, and the sky is just so amazing, and the water's so smooth and calm. It's just such a pretty afternoon out here. I thought I would go ahead and get a little bit of video anyway. Probably going to do some fishing. I might look around for some plants. If I see any interesting wildlife or anything like that, I'll certainly try to get any of that on video. And where we're going, up into George's Creek, should offer us some different scenery than my normal fare. I mean, I guess in a sense it all looks basically the same when you get right down to it, but to me, I can tell the difference between the steeper, rockier shorelines as we get out towards the main channel versus the shallower, more woodsy shorelines as we get up here into George's Creek. So sit back, relax, and we'll get some more video as the day progresses. I just got out here a little while ago, and we're still heading away from the boat launch, so we got plenty of sightseeing left to do. All right, here we are about another half mile upstream. And what I've been noticing out here in front of us, off to our left, are little birds that look like swallows. And they're striking the surface of the water and skimming the surface of the water, leaving little trails behind them, making little splashes. And they don't look like water birds. They don't look like they're dipping in and pulling out little bait fish or anything. I don't know if that's coming out on camera. It doesn't look like it is. But there's dozens of them, and they're smacking the surface all over the place. And I'm wondering if they're not pecking little bugs off the surface, or if they are really in there scooping little bait fish, little insects, little minnows and stuff off the surface. I'm going to guess that it's insects and not fish. And again, I can't really tell what you're all seeing in my camera here. Polarized glasses make it good for looking into water, but they make it really difficult for looking at video screens and stuff. And I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but there's a big open spot right there in the hillside. That is actually somebody's house. That's their front yard. And that's, you know, imagine looking down here and seeing this is the view from your front yard. Not too shabby. Yeah, let me see if I can get a little look behind us without dropping my phone or falling in. I swear one of these days my phone is going to end up at the bottom of this reservoir. So we're a pretty good chunk of the way up into George's Creek at this point. If you're interested enough to look at a map, you can actually find that house and see where it's positioned, looking right down over the reservoir. And if you look at the satellite imagery of the reservoir, you can see that house plain as day. And so there's a few houses that are very prominently overlooking the reservoir, but this is one that's about halfway up George's Creek, and we are about to make our way around to the right, and then if I'm not mistaken, eventually it's going to crook back around off to the left and start snaking its way up to George's Creek Road, and that's ultimately where we're heading. We're probably not going to go all the way up to the road. I can't get that far in my kayak, but we're going to get pretty close up to the where George's Creek Road intersects with George's Creek. Again, if you're interested enough to check out a map and look at that. So sit tight, and once again, I'll see you up around the bend. Not too far from here, we're going to be where I actually fish on foot and walk around, so we'll get to look at some of the scenery that I've got in other videos, but we'll be seeing it from the other angle. We'll be looking from the water up onto shore. Alright everybody, it's getting kind of late in the day, or at least late in the day for as far away from the boat launch as we are. The sun's up there somewhere behind those trees. And we're a solid hour away from the boat launch, and that's if I go full crank the whole way back. So we're going to start heading in that direction now. But before I started motoring again, I wanted to give everybody a little bit of a look around. Nice, calm, flat water. Beautiful reflection across the surface. So we are not too much further upstream from where we were just looking at that property, that house that I was talking about. If you actually go right around this little point, that property is sitting right there. We just came from around this bend out here, and that is exactly where we're going to go now and head on down there. So let's start working the motor on up. And away we go. So I just got a new lithium ferrous phosphate or LiFePO battery. And man, what a difference it makes from that old lead acid battery I had in so many levels. I will shoot a video here in the near future talking about my experience with this one so far. I'll do a little review of the battery. Talk about my experiences with the battery and how much more awesome it is than the lead acid. I said to a friend of mine the other day, getting this lithium battery was the equivalent of getting my first smartphone. Once you get it, you instantly, there's just no going back. You can never go back to what you had before, and you also wonder, how did I ever live without this? And so that's pretty much how I feel with this lithium battery. It weighs 25 pounds, and it got us really, really far back here, farther than my lead acid battery ever could. And we've still got so much juice left to get back, it's unbelievable. So there was a purpose to my chatting there. I just wanted to give you a real world look at exactly how far away we were from that property I was talking about, and you can see right there where it comes down. That's their grassy lawn right there. And we just have to make our way out and around this point. And then we've got about 3 miles to go to get to the boat launch. So I'm sure I will see you again down around the bend. We are back in the area where all those little birds were dipping down and hitting the water surface. We don't have the sun in their face from this angle, so maybe we can see them a little better this time. There's a few of them that are still out there, but right as I came around the bend, I saw a great big bird struggling near the water surface. It was coming away from that fallen branch right there, and something fell, big old splash in the water, and then the bird flew away. So I'm not sure if it was a juvenile bald eagle. I saw one of them the other day. Its head feathers were just sort of turning brown, or it may have been an osprey, and they have brown heads all the time, and I wasn't able to get a close enough look at it to find out whether it was actually the osprey or the bald eagle. And it swooped around like it was going to come in for a second run, and I don't see it. I don't know where it went. I was hoping to get the camera rolling just in case it swooped by again, get it on video, because that's always exciting. They're really, really fantastic birds. I'm not sure what I think is more majestic, the osprey, which is a type of sea eagle, or the bald eagle, which is also a type of sea eagle. I always think the osprey are gorgeous, and then I see a bald eagle, and then I'm thinking, oh yeah, okay, well, yeah, all right. The bald eagles are pretty impressive too when you see them up close. And it don't look like we're going to see one on this little segment of video, but if I do get an opportunity, I will definitely get one on video. I see them out here fairly frequently, although I do see the osprey much more often. The osprey are just all over the place out here. So, all right, everybody, I'm going to keep on keeping on. It is still an absolutely beautiful afternoon, and I got plenty of time, so we're going to stop and do a little fishing somewhere along the line. Hopefully I'll be able to incorporate a fish catching video segment in here somewhere. So sit tight, and I'll see you down around the bend. I know this is going to be a long video if I keep stopping every time I come around the corner and see another pretty view, because that's pretty much all there is out here. But I swear, every time I set the camera down, I look around and think, oh boy, I should pick up the camera and get that on video. That's awesome looking. I wish there was a way I could put everybody in the kayak with me and bring you all out here. It's just awesome. I feel so fortunate to live 5 minutes away, maybe 10 minutes from the boat launch. Throw my kayak in the back of the truck, head out here, and this is how I get to spend my afternoon. And this is a pretty awesome way to spend an afternoon. So we're just now coming back to where we get into the big wide open water. If any of you were interested enough to look at Prettyboy Reservoir on a map and you see where George's Creek flows into the main channel, you'll see where a little island sits out in the middle of the water right before you get to the main channel. That's just there ahead of us. And once we pass that and go around the bend, we'll be in the main channel. I don't remember if I mentioned that earlier in the video or not. Not even sure what I've videoed or not. Pretty sure we started right around here though. So, alright, there's another couple minutes of looking around at some beautiful scenery. Give me 5 minutes, I'm sure I'll see something else. So once again, sit tight. I'll see you down around the bend. We are still making our way through that big broad section that we were just in. In fact, that little patch of land right smack in the middle of your screen right now is that little island I was just talking about. But we are kind of cruising on past the shoreline here. In fact, we're getting kind of shallow. I got to stay out off the shore a little bit. But this is a really pretty section. Oh man, I'm really running through some weeds now. The motor's even bogging down. This is just a really cool looking section of shoreline and water, and I just had a blue heron fly out in front of me and then swoop back in, so I'm not sure where. Oh yeah, now I see it. It's way out ahead of us. It is actually on this little point right here. We'll probably fly away before we even get to it again. Anyway, I just wanted to shoot some video of cruising on past all this. That is really a lot of weeds through here. Once we get around this point, I'm going to have to stop for a minute and get my motor cleaned off because it's really bogging me down. I'm going to see if we can zoom in on this blue heron and get a look at it before it flies away. There's a bunch of geese over there too. He's walking along. There he goes. He's flying away. There's a couple of them. I swear you'd think we were out on the Chesapeake Bay with all the different wading birds and aquatic hunting birds, but we're not. Of course, if we went downstream and followed the water far enough, we eventually would be in Chesapeake Bay, and that's what happens. The birds just actually follow the river systems, and they find this huge body of water, and it's a pretty swank place to live and hang out if you're a bird, especially if you're a waterfowl. It is so dense and dark up under those trees. I almost wish I had time to get out and walk around, walk up in the shade a little bit. But alas, I do not. We gotta keep on keeping on. We need to go out past, not this point, but this point and around that bend, and that will take us out into the main channel and heading on up towards the boat launch. And that, of course, is that little island. You'd think for a Saturday there'd be more people out, especially a Saturday as nice as today. I have heard a couple little rumbles of thunder, and you can see that little dark poofy cloud right there. It's similar to a little puffy cloud, but it is a dark poofy cloud. So I don't think we're going to see any storms though. Anyway, there's just a little more scenery. Once again, I'll see you up around the bend. Alright, we are finally coming around the bend into the main channel. And ideally, I would like to show you the opposite shoreline, because that's where all the interesting, craggy, rocky structures are going to be. And it's just a lot more interesting looking as we make our way along the shoreline. Unfortunately, following that shoreline is also heading straight into the afternoon sun, and it is just killer on my eyes. So we are going to stay on this shoreline where the sun will be up behind the trees for the most part. But we'll get some interesting scenery. Again, we're back into the main channel, so we're the bulk of the way there. Not too much now. Worst case scenario, if my new battery went haywire, I could paddle back from here. It would take a little while, but I could do it. It wouldn't be that big a deal. So whenever you're out testing new equipment, it's always a little stressful when you're pretty much out relying on it. I had no backup means to get back to the boat launch if anything went wrong, except for my little emergency paddle right there. So now that we're this close, I'm not too worried about it. So, alright, I'm going to be making my way through a stretch out in the sun here. Actually have to go up and around this point up here and around that way. That right there in the middle of this cove is another small island. If you're following along in the home map edition, you'll be able to spot that island easy enough. And then as we go up this way, we need to go up and around the bend, and then the cove with the boat launch in it is up here off to the right. Alright, I will see you somewhere up there. As scenic as that may look on camera, 15 or 20 minutes of this is starting to get a little annoying. And unfortunately, we've got to keep on going straight into the sun for about another 5 minutes to get to where I'm heading. I got one more spot I want to try fishing a little bit this afternoon before I get out of here. So, of course, I thought I would spend a few more minutes getting a little more scenic look around, and I will probably not get out of here until the sun's going down. That's usually the case. I always feel like I'll be out of here before then, but there's always one more spot I can hit before I gotta go. And before you know it, I'm rolling on out of here right as the sun's dipping down over the horizon. So we should get some pretty scenery before we get out of here. That is a cove I like to fish in. I've actually shot quite a lot of video back there. If you actually go back into the far right-hand corner, it's a little area where you kind of go up into a stream. The very corner of the cove. I've shot a bunch of video in there, and it is right around the corner from the boat launch, because if we go around this point, we're heading back up into the cove where the boat launch is, and we'd be out of here in just a few minutes. But we are not. We are going up that way, as I said, and just before we get to the Beckleysville Bridge, we're going to turn around and we're going to come along and we're going to fish these shorelines along here. So hopefully I will get some fish video today. Not yet. I've actually stopped 2 or 3 times and fished here and there a little bit, but I have not got so much as an activity. Not a bite, not a nibble, nothing. So, no biggie. I came out here to run my battery around more than anything, and so far I think I'm going to wind up going home with a good bit of battery left, regardless of how much I've been out here running around. I'm just amazed at how much power this lithium battery holds. Alright, give me a few more minutes and I'm sure I will see you again before the end of the video. Alright, we are all the way up north of Beckleysville Bridge. I've just kept going and going. This battery must be made out of everlasting gobstoppers. I still have tons of juice left, and I'm just gonna sort of motor around till the sun goes down. So I thought I would come over and have a look at this shoreline. It's a little bit of rocky visual texture, nice old tire up there. That's lovely to look at. That was actually probably floating in the water and somebody dragged it out, so that's kind of nice that it's sitting up there rather than in the water. And so for this video segment, we are going to come up here, just have sort of a look at a few little places I can come on foot. There's a trail right up there in the trees. And this little point out here is where I will often come if I feel like just popping out on foot to fish for a little bit. I don't know if you can hear the traffic behind us, but that's going over the Beckleysville Bridge right now. So this is a little spot I call Polo's Point. Named that after a friend of mine who always enjoyed coming out there. And over there you can actually see a little bit of the trail as it continues on along the shoreline. So let's go ahead and make our U-turn, have a good sweeping look at what everything looks like. And it's a left-hand U-turn, so that's always a little more difficult for me. My motor is mounted on the left, so I'm actually trying to turn against the side my motor is pushing on. I can make right-hand U-turns like a champ, though. I'll just do the rest with the camera for you. How's that? That's where we're heading. We're going to go back over, go underneath the bridge. And that bridge is about a mile from the boat launch. I'm probably not going to go straight back there. Again, I've got tons of battery left, so as long as I've got some daylight, I'm probably going to stay out here and enjoy it. And we might get some pretty sunset colors. Seems like most of the clouds have left the sky. Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The clouds is where it's at when you've got a sunset. A nice open blue sky usually means you're not going to get a very colorful sunset, or a very dramatic sunset anyway. So sit tight. I'll see you down there. Alright everybody, here we are in the cove, sort of out in front of the boat launch. I literally am just kind of motoring around, killing time, waiting for the sun to go down, burning off some juice out of my never-ending battery, and just kind of enjoying the scenery. I haven't really bothered to stop and fish anywhere. So I thought we could get one last look. I don't think we're really going to get any sunset because I am getting hungry and I want to go home. And the boat launch is right there. So once we get over that way, it's going to be the end of the trip. And unfortunately, that's what we're getting for a sunset. So not very dramatic after all, is it? But that's alright, because we had a great day, or at least I did. I certainly hope you did. And as I said, that right there is our destination. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will leave you with one last look at the sun as we make our way on over there.